You are someone who moves fast, who acts before others have finished thinking, who has never needed someone to light the fire in you because you were born with it already burning. And yet, when it comes to money, something strange keeps happening. You work, you push, you pour the full force of your Aries energy into what you are building, and then the money arrives and slips, and the cycle starts again. This is not a discipline problem. This is not a strategy problem. This is a frequency problem, and it lives beneath the level of action. Aries energy is one of the most powerful forces in the zodiac for initiation. You start things that others won't touch. You move when others are still deliberating. But abundance is not just about starting, it is about receiving. And receiving requires a different part of you, a quieter part, one that most Aries have never been taught to access. Take one slow breath in. Feel the weight of your body deliberately slowing, settling into whatever is beneath you. Let the breath arrive without urgency. 2026 is not the year you push harder toward money. It is the year you let money move toward you from a place of genuine alignment rather than exhausting force. You have spent long enough proving you are worth it through effort. This is where that ends. The fire in you is not the problem. It has never been the problem. The fire is the gift, the exact quality that makes you capable of building something real, something lasting, something that other people can feel the heat of from across a room. The problem has only ever been the direction. When Aries fire is aimed outward at constant proving, it burns through everything, including the very things being built. But when that same fire is turned toward alignment, toward the internal work of becoming someone who receives as naturally as they initiate, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a magnet, and in 2026, your fire stops burning through abundance and starts drawing it in. The shift is already beginning. You can feel it, even now, in the slight slowing of the breath, in the body that is learning, for the first time, that rest is not falling behind. It is how the magnet charges. There is a specific frustration that lives inside an Aries who is financially stuck. It is not the passive frustration of someone who doesn't try. It is the burning, grinding frustration of someone who gives everything they have, watches others seem to build wealth with less effort, and cannot understand why the equation keeps failing them. You have started things, multiple things, with real vision, real drive, real fire, and somewhere between the starting and the sustaining, something keeps breaking down. Maybe it is the feast and famine cycle that won't stabilize. Maybe it is the income that arrives and immediately disappears into what you owe. Maybe it is the feeling that you are always one good month away from actually getting ahead, and that month never quite becomes permanent. Underneath all of that frustration is something you may not have named yet. It is the belief that money is something you have to fight for, that it does not come to you unless you earn it through difficulty, unless you prove yourself through strain, unless you suffer enough to deserve it. That belief did not come from nowhere. It came from what you watched, what you absorbed, what you were taught, directly or indirectly, about what people like you have to do to get ahead, and it has been running in the background of every financial decision you have made since then. Today, you make it conscious, because a belief you can see is a belief you can change. The feast and famine cycle is not evidence of your inadequacy. It is evidence of a pattern that was installed before you were old enough to question it. Somewhere, early on, you learned that money required a fight, that it had to be wrestled away from a world that would not give it willingly. That ease around money was either luck or dishonesty, and neither applied to someone like you. And so you fought, every cycle, every time, with everything you had, and the fighting itself became the signal your nervous system sent out, one that attracted more situations requiring more fighting, rather than situations where money simply flowed. In 2026, you stop sending that signal, not by stopping the work, but by changing the internal broadcast underneath the work, from fight to flow, from proving to receiving, from someone money has to be wrestled from, to someone money moves toward naturally. That shift is what this moment is building in you, right now, in this breath. Find a place in your body where financial frustration lives right now. For many Aries, it is in the chest, a heat that is not quite anger but not far from it, or in the jaw, clenched without you realizing, holding the tension of everything you are trying to control. Place your awareness there without judgment, without the need to fix it immediately, which is the Aries instinct, but not what this moment requires. That place has been carrying the weight of a story that says money is a battle, and it has been bracing for that battle every single day, even on days when nothing is actually wrong. Breathe into it now, a slow, deliberate breath, directed into the heat, into the tension, not to extinguish it, but to transform it into something the body can actually use. On your exhale, release one layer of the old money story, the one that says you have to fight to receive, the one that says rest is falling behind, the one that says your worth is only as real as your last result. Let that exhale be long and slow, longer than feels natural, deliberately, consciously slow. Feel the jaw unclench. Feel the chest widen. Feel the very particular quiet that arrives in an Aries body when it finally stops bracing for impact. That quiet is not weakness. That quiet is where your real financial power actually lives. The tension you are releasing right now has cost you more than you realize, not just in the physical toll of a body permanently braced for battle, but in the financial reality it has been generating. A nervous system locked in fight mode does not attract abundance. It attracts more things to fight. Every opportunity filtered through the lens of threat. Every financial decision colored by the urgency of survival rather than the clarity of alignment. Every moment of potential ease interrupted by the internal alarm that says it won't last. So prepare for impact. As you exhale right now, that alarm is being reset, not disabled. You are an Aries. You will always have fire and readiness, but recalibrated so that the readiness is for receiving rather than just surviving. The jaw loosening is the alarm quieting. The chest widening is the body making room for something it has not allowed itself to fully hold before. Stay with it. This quiet is the beginning of a very different financial story. Who are you when money is not something you fight for, but something that recognizes you? You are someone whose vision is genuinely rare. You are someone who sees opportunity before it becomes obvious, who moves with the decisiveness that most people spend years trying to develop. The Aries who steps into financial abundance in 2026 does not slow down their fire. They redirect it from force toward magnetism, from pushing toward receiving, from proving toward knowing. Place one hand on your chest right now. Feel the steadiness beneath your palm, the consistent rhythm of a body that has survived every difficult financial season it has ever faced. Say it to yourself in the body, not as a wish but as a known thing. I am someone money moves toward, not just someone who chases it. I am someone whose energy, ideas, and action create wealth that is sustainable and real. I am someone who receives financial abundance without having to destroy myself to deserve it. Let that move through you slowly. Notice where the body accepts it easily and where it pushes back. Breathe into the resistance directly, because the resistance is not evidence that it is false. The resistance is simply the old story, noticing that it is being replaced, and it is being replaced right now, in this breath, in this body. The Aries who manifests money in 2026 is not a different person than the one who started this journey. They are the same person with the same fire, the same vision, the same extraordinary capacity for action. The difference is internal. It lives in the nervous system, which no longer treats abundance as a threat to be tested, in the body, which no longer braces when money arrives, waiting for the catch, and the identity, which no longer requires suffering as proof of worthiness. You are someone whose fire, when aligned rather than just aimed, becomes one of the most naturally abundant forces in existence. Aries energy, in its highest expression, does not just start things, it draws things in. It creates fields of possibility around itself that others can feel and are drawn toward. That is the version of your energy that is activating right now, not louder, not faster, more aligned, and alignment for an Aries is the only strategy that has ever actually worked. Feel into this specific sensation now. The feeling of looking at your finances, and the first thing you notice is not dread, but steadiness. The feeling of an opportunity arriving that fits you so precisely, it feels like it was constructed for your specific set of skills. The feeling of money accumulating rather than cycling, building rather than disappearing, staying rather than passing through. Let that feeling begin as warmth in the center of the chest. Let it expand outward through the arms, down through the belly, upward through the throat and into the jaw, softening the places that have been tight for too long. Aries, you are one of the most naturally abundant energies in existence. You are ruled by a planet of action, of assertion, of the raw power to make things happen. But abundance is not only what you make happen, it is also what you allow to arrive. Right now, you are practicing the allowing. You are letting the body feel financial ease before the bank account confirms it, and that feeling, held consistently, is what begins to shift the external reality. The money that is meant for you is not being withheld as punishment. It is simply waiting for the version of you that believes it is allowed to stay. That version is here, in this breath, in this body, right now. The steadiness you are feeling in the chest right now is not a temporary state you are manufacturing for the purposes of this meditation. It is a preview of your actual financial future, felt in the body before it arrives in the bank account. Pisces feels the future through emotion, Aquarius through insight. Aries feels it through the body, through the gut, through the particular quality of certainty that arrives when something is genuinely aligned rather than just desired. What you are feeling right now is that certainty. Your body recognizes the frequency of what is coming. The steadiness is recognition, the warmth is confirmation, the loosening in the jaw and the chest is the body's way of saying, yes, this is real and it is mine. Trust that. Let it be the signal you carry forward from this moment, not as a memory of a meditation, but as a frequency you now know how to return to. Because this frequency, accessed consistently, is what changes the material world. Before this moment closes, stay a little longer in the stillness. Notice the quality of your breath now, compared to how it arrived. Notice the jaw, notice the chest, notice whether the heat that was there at the beginning has shifted into something warmer and less urgent. This is what it feels like to be an Aries who has stopped making money the enemy and started making it the natural result of who they already are. 2026 is not the year you finally break yourself trying to get ahead. It is the year the effort you have always brought finally lands in soil that holds it, in a frequency that lets it grow, in a version of yourself that can actually receive what you build. Money is already moving in your direction, not because you forced it, not because you hustled past your limit one more time, because you spent this time today telling your nervous system something true, that you are not someone who has to earn the right to financial ease. When you leave this moment, carry the steadiness with you. When the impulse to force arises, pause just briefly before acting. Ask whether this action comes from alignment or from the old belief that effort is the only currency that counts. You are an Aries at the beginning of a financial era where your fire serves you rather than burns you, where what you build stays built, where money arrives not as a reward for suffering, but as a natural reflection of who you actually are. Take one final breath, let the body hold it fully, and know, in the deepest, most certain part of yourself, that the shift has already begun. It began the moment you pressed play, and it will continue long after this moment closes. In 2026, the cycle breaks, not because the world suddenly becomes easier, or because luck finally turns in your direction, but because you, in this moment, chose to become the version of yourself that money has always been trying to find. The Aries who does not chase abundance, but generates it, naturally, sustainably, from the inside out. That is who you are now. That is who you have always been becoming. And the financial reality of your life is already beginning to reflect it.